You may feel forgotten, overlooked, passed by. Maybe you've been hiding in plain sight, showing up every day, wearing a smile that doesn't quite reach your eyes, doing what needs to be done, saying what people expect you to say. But deep down, you're exhausted. You're not even sure who you are anymore. You wonder if your time has passed, if your voice still matters, if the dream God placed in your heart all those years ago was ever real, or just wishful thinking. But hear me today, God's not done with you. No matter how long you've been in the shadows, no matter how far you think you've fallen, no matter how tightly fear has wrapped itself around your heart, this is not the end of your story. Because you weren't made for the background. You weren't created to shrink. You weren't designed to merely exist. You were meant to fly. And I'm not talking about surface-level success. I'm talking about rising above shame, fear, and limitation. I'm talking about reclaiming your God-given identity. I'm talking about the kind of freedom that only comes when you finally believe what God says about you, even when everything around you tries to convince you otherwise. The enemy wants you silent, afraid, hidden, but God is calling you out of the shadows, and not gently. He's calling you by name, with fire in his voice and love in his eyes, saying, "You're still mine. I still have plans for you. I'm not finished." You see, wings don't stop working just because you forgot how to use them. Purpose doesn't expire just because you've taken a few wrong turns. And destiny doesn't disappear in the dark. It just waits patiently for the light to return. So if you've been living in a place of almost, if you've been playing small to make others comfortable, if you've allowed past pain or failure to define you, I'm here to remind you of something powerful. You were made in the image of a limitless God. And because of that, there is no chain that can hold you, no label that can limit you, and no season that can stop you. When he says it's time to rise. So this isn't just another message. This is a wake-up call, a divine reminder, a holy push. It's time to shake the dust off your dreams. It's time to stop waiting for permission to be who God already called you to be. It's time to step out of the shadows, because you were meant to fly. And today, I want to show you how.
I know what it's like to live in the shadows, to feel like you're just going through the motions, alive but not fully living, smiling on the outside but carrying silent battles inside. I remember a time in my life when I felt invisible, like I was doing everything I could to stay afloat, yet still sinking in ways no one could see. I was surrounded by people but somehow more alone than ever. I looked in the mirror and saw someone I didn't even recognize anymore. I kept asking God, why am I still here? What's the point of all this? And silence, that haunting silence, was the only thing I heard back. But here's what I didn't realize back then. Silence doesn't mean absence. Delay doesn't mean denial. And shadows don't mean you've been forgotten. Because even in that season, especially in that season, God was working behind the scenes. He was healing places in me I didn't know were broken. He was stripping away the false identities I had clung to for too long. He was preparing me, not punishing me. Pruning me, not rejecting me. And above all, he was patiently waiting for me to stop looking for validation in everything and everyone else, and start remembering who I belong to. And maybe you're there right now. Maybe you're in that silent stretch of your life where everything feels dry and heavy. Maybe you're walking through a season of disappointment, disconnection, or discouragement. But listen to me, just because it feels like nothing's happening, doesn't mean nothing's happening. Because God does his deepest work in hidden places. Think about a seed. It's buried underground in the dark before it ever breaks the surface. It grows roots before it grows fruit. And in the same way, God's been growing something in you. He's been developing strength, faith, resilience. Quietly, carefully, lovingly. You haven't missed your moment. You're not too late. You're right on time for what God's about to do.
Isaiah 40 verse 31 says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." That's not just poetry. It's a promise. And now, the question is, will you believe it? Because if you stay in the shadows, you'll never see the sky. If you keep agreeing with fear, you'll never step into freedom. So today, right now, make a decision. Will you keep living small? Or will you rise? Will you keep waiting? Or will you take one bold step toward the purpose God has for you? It doesn't have to be big, but it has to be real. Maybe it's reaching out to someone you've been avoiding. Maybe it's finally starting the healing process. Maybe it's stepping into that calling you've been running from. Whatever it is, take the step. And here's what I want you to do right now. Right arrow, drop a comment, and tell me one thing you're choosing to trust God with today. Say it, write it, declare it, claim it, because when you speak it, you start to believe it. And when you believe it, you start to become it. And when you become it, you rise. And if this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe so you don't miss the next word of encouragement. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Comment below so we can stand together in faith. Because when you fly, you give others permission to fly too. And when you rise, you don't rise alone. You rise with a testimony that calls others higher. So this is it. The moment you look back on and say, that's when everything started to change. You were meant to fly. You were born to soar. And this is just the beginning. Fire, let's rise together. Fire.